We are arriving at Buffalo Rock State Park to the left. That was our intended. And I&M Canal State Trail parking lot is right there. We're going over here. There's a wildlife viewing area straight ahead. We're gonna get a map to the park, hopefully. Here's a picnic area, and right beyond that is the Illinois River. We could see it as we were coming up that bluff. So there's a guy in the parking lot renting bikes, and we're gonna go for a ride. I'm excited about that. Park office is there, so it's a very small park. Buffalo are here. So somebody in the parking lot told us that the buffalo are all the way down to the left. So that's where I'm going to go, to the back left corner. Go down the fence over here, they said. Oh, I spy them. Look at that. Look at the buffalo. Wow, how fun is that? We're at Buffalo State Park and they've got buffalo. Oh, there must be a shooting range close by. There are 3 buffalo down in here. If I can't stick the camera through a hole, and get all 3 of them, maybe if I go up. This guy's the closest. You gotta get between the... There, I could get these 2. That really big guy over there is just looking at me. He's like, I don't care. I don't care. There they all are. I can't believe I'm this close. And they're just hanging out. They're like, go away, people. Oh, there's a trail there. Nice. I guess you can get right up to the buffalo. You can go all the way around. That's pretty cool. Hello, Mr. Buffalo. Do you get tired of people looking at you? Huh? Hi, Mr. Buffalo. One of you is a Mrs. Buffalo, so most certainly. Yeah. You gonna talk to me? Oh, don't make noises. There, got a picture of the buffalo. And this guy down here. Are you saying hi? You look friendly, although I know you're not. Let's see. You gotta get... There's really no good spot to even get your camera through the holes. It's the best spot I found. There he is. Showing off for us, chewing his cud. Guess you could walk all the way around. So they do have a big enclosure. Girlfriends, look. We gonna go for a ride? Sit. Yeah, we're gonna go for a ride. So here we go. So it looks like this is a little viewing area. The dogs are whining. We're gonna go straight. That's the playground right outside the parking lot. This is fun, an unplanned adventure. You girls really need to figure it out, you know? Tizzy. There's something here, the way the trail goes. So this just looks like a view of the river through the trees. So we're riding bikes. There's the river. It's like the trail goes on down. I am not doing that steep, but this is pretty. Look at that. Illinois River. We're getting to see it lots of times. Hi, girlfriends. Yay! So this is actually a hiking trail, but we're biking it and I love it. Got a place to stop again. There's a beautiful water. This is a cool map showing recreation sites. You got the city of LaSalle and Utica. There's a lookout access. Starved Rock, where we're camping. Matheson, we're going to next. We're currently at Buffalo Rock, but this is the Illinois River. We drove through Ottawa. Just got some tea and coffee there. We were just at Marcel's Illinois State Park, but then it goes on down. Here's the I&M Canal Trail. There's another state park, another state park. This is a cool map. Des Plaines State Fish and Wildlife Area, Goose Lake Prairie State Natural Area. This is so cool. So if you like to fish, ends in Joliet. Oh, I hear lots of geese. Girlfriends. Mama's girlfriends. So the sign says Effigy Trail and River Bluff Trail Overlook is what we are just looking at. And Effigy Trail is straight ahead. This map, and we think we came from this parking lot and started out that way. I wonder if we're down to here already. I'm not sure. It doesn't label Effigy. But we can go to a point down here and then come back and take the left way. My bike squeaks, but it runs well. It's working well. Not sure what that area is. We can't decide which way to go because we could go that way. It looks like the trail goes that way because I see another sign to like an overlook or something. I bet you he goes around the bend. Come around the bend. How funny. I wonder where we go. Let's go up there. Well, we must be at the end point where you turn around and go back. That's a cool photo of you. Yay! It says restricted area, keep out.
It also has a tree.
But I think you can go right to the edge maybe. And the river's way out there. Super cool. I love that it's a prairie grass field. Restricted, keep out, and there he goes. silly guy. But the prairie grass is so fabulous blowing in the wind. I have no idea what turtle and catfish and all that means, snake. But we've made it to the end of the trail. And there's the loop. It actually loops. And we're going to go back around the circle. And we meet again. I went around the circle. We're going to go back. And somewhere down here we're going to have to veer off on the left. I think it's the trailer the dogs are in that's squeaking. It's 68 degrees and the squeaking stopped. No, it isn't. It's still going. But it's a perfect day. There's over there. We're back to this lookout, so we're going to take a left. This road's a little bit brighter. I'm having so much fun. Downhill, whee! Oh my goodness. Prairie. More downhill. There's a burnt tree. Whee! We had a great time. Look at the buffalo came up to the front. How fun. They're walking away from me. He turned around a moment to make sure the dogs were okay. I'm not going to keep walking. I covered a lot of this book in the video on Starved Rock, so go watch it. But I wanted to cover a little bit of this book for the Buffalo State Park, and some of it will be repeating. Mr. Nehemiah Matson wrote the book. I think it's common knowledge, but we usually think about buffalo roaming as more out west. So I would like to mention that the book says, over this vast country, herds of buffalo roamed for their benefit. This was known as Buffalo Country, and many of the neighboring tribes would come this way to hunt, and the Illinois Indians did not like that encroachment upon their rights. And although they were not warlike people, they were often at war with other tribes for coming to hunt on their grounds. That is one of the reasons why there was a fight between Pontiac and the Illinois Indians. Now, Levantum was located where present-day Utica is, and Mr. Matson, in his interviews, had some conflicting reports that they thought Levantum was a little below Buffalo Rock or near the mouth of Little Vermilion, because Indian relics were found at both of these places. I found that significant, that the Indian relics were found at both Buffalo Rock, Little Vermilion, and Starved Rock. I think in actuality, though, this is key, where it says on the north side of the river for about 9 miles in length and 1 mile in breadth, extending from river to bluff and from the mouth of the Little Vermilion to Buffalo Rock were where the Illinois Indians were living. And if you go listen to the other video, you'll hear how the Pontiac and all of his allies first killed all of the Indians out on this large bottom prairie before they began attacking the fortified city of Utica. So it would make sense that they would find relics at both Buffalo Rock and other areas. There was some controversy on where Fort St. Louis was built, and some folks thought it was built on Buffalo Rock. But the conclusion, I think, by most people is that it was built on Starved Rock. And you can see and read more about that fort in my Starved Rock video. I touched on this in the Starved Rock video regarding Captain Richard Payette, I think is the way it is said, although that would be a double L. But he was sneaky. He came to the Fort St. Louis and tried to say that he was authorized to take command, but Tonti denied the power of the governor to appoint a commander, as the fort was private property, having been built and maintained by La Salle at his own expense. So Pompous Payette, I love that, proclaimed himself commander of Fort St. Louis by virtue of his commission, and ordered them to lay hold of Tonti and place him under guard. Without making any reply, Tonti, with his iron hand, knocked down the would-be commander, and at the same time relieving him of 3 of his front teeth. Before the usurper could regain his feet, the soldiers carried him outside of the gateway, setting him on the rock, and gave him a start downwards. The rock being covered with sleet, Payette could not recover his footing or stop his descent, but in that position slid to the bottom. I can just imagine it in my mind. And he was tearing his pantaloons into fragments and bruising himself on the sharp crags of rocks. So Captain Payette, bruised and bleeding, his clothing torn almost off him while sliding down the rock, made his way to Levantum, which is Utica, where he found sympathy among his countrymen and their Indian friends. While here, he concocted a plan to gain power of the Indians and secure their trade. So with 18 Frenchmen and about 50 warriors, he went where? To Buffalo Rock. And on its summit, so at the top, he commenced building a fort. So with all of his promises to the Indians to trade with them, they began coming, and there was a large number on the top of Buffalo Rock, and it became known as Le Fort des Miamis. And it was occupied by the Indians long after the French had left the area. Payette ended up marrying an Indian woman. Squaw is used in this book, and in today's culture that is offensive. He raised a large family of half-breed children to whom he left a large fortune, which he had made in the fur trade, buffalo fur trade, I'm sure. And he died and is buried on Buffalo Rock. I wonder if that grave is marked. And raised a mound over his remains. And after his death, his family moved to the Peoria Lake area, and one of his grandsons is Louis Payette, who was a claimant for the land on which Peoria is built. The next tidbit in the book I want to share is that Pontiac and Ottawa hunters had been killing buffalo during the day on the prairie just west of Levantum, and this was not liked by the Illinois Indians. So when you visit Buffalo Rock State Park and look at the buffalo, you can imagine how important they were to the culture of the Native Americans at that time. And Kainbu was the head chief of the Illinois Indians, and this and Pontiac trying to take over the land caused Kainbu to kill Pontiac, and you can read more about that in the other video. As part of the story of Pontiac and his allies annihilating the Illinois Indians, during some of their attacks, they were not successful, so they retreated and retired to rest on Buffalo Rock, where they called a council of war, at which speeches were made by the leading war chiefs, all of whom favored prosecuting or continuing the war to exterminate the Illinois Indians. So the two locations are very close to each other, and you can visit both of them to get a total aspect of the story.